Indian Army is very proud to be producing gentlemen officers. Officer cadets in the Indian Military Academy, the IMA, are called gentlemen cadets. Our officers pride themselves on being gentlemen. I think that is a problem. Let me tell you why. What I am covering here is partly covered in my book, Leadership for Colonels and Business Managers. So, what makes for success of an army? Winning wars? The army operates in two distinct settings, peace and war. Peace settings are distinguished by sand model exercises, presentations and social prisons. Wartime settings, on the other hand, are distinguished by intense operations full of confusion, ambiguity and human suffering. Clearly, the quality that makes for success in both settings just cannot be the same. Theoretical knowledge, presentation skills, and ability to blend in the most corporate-like settings is necessary for success in the peacetime army. For the wartime, only one quality is necessary, and that is being a dabang. In English language, dabang is best translated as cocky, a defiant man with an attitude. When problems beckon to him, say the storm is coming, the dabang counters it with saying, I am the storm. A dabang has balls. More than being merely brave, he is defiant. Consider the scenario in which Major Hoshiar Singh delivered the qualifying act which won him the nation's highest gallantry award, the Paramveer Chakra. During the Indo-Pak War of 71, 3 Grenadiers Regiment was spearheading the Shakargarh area. On 15th December, the unit was assigned the task of establishing a bridgehead across the Basanta River, which was not an easy task as the river had deep minefields on both sides and was heavily guarded by the Pakistan Army. Major Hoshiar Singh was the commanding officer, Charlie Company. He instructed to capture the locality of Jarpal. As Jarpal was heavily fortified enemy position, the company came under intense shelling and crossfire from medium machine guns, MMGs. Undeterred, Hoshiar Singh led his troops and engaged in a fierce hand-to-hand fight. The enemy responded with a counter-attack, which the men under Hoshiar Singh beat back. Then came another and then yet another counter-attack. 2 of these 3 were heavily supported by armor, but the company under Hoshiar Singh stuck on. They were brave, but more importantly, they were defiant. To hell with the casualties and suffering. Charlie Company under Hoshiar Singh was not going to let the Pakis take the locality back. That is defiance. That is being in the bunker. Defiance is a quality non-parade. A defiant person does not count costs. If Hoshiar Singh had started a cost-benefit analysis, he would have quit. Any sane man would have. I have seen Hoshiar Singh in action. No, not in battle, but in training. In 1973, she was our instructor in the Indian Military Academy. And I can tell you, he was one hell of an unreasonable man. That was Hoshiar Singh and the bunker. Now look up the fine print details of any battle, of any campaign, and you'll come up with scenarios in battlefield of Longewala and Chandpuri. Let's look that up. Provided leadership to a company of 23 Punjab being attacked by Pak tanks. The same insane defiance can be seen. Or look up details of battles fought by Captain Vikram Batra in Kargil. In all cases, you will find leaders who struck on when a realistic appraisal would have surely suggested that it would be better to let go. Just as Yahya Khan decided way back in 1971 when he was under attack by the Indian Army and he found it not possible to fight a defensive battle. He logically decided that he should quit. When defiant soldier takes a stand, it is of the type of over my dead body. These are people who have an attitude, who have a chutzpah, they see only one side of the logic. People who see both sides normally do not win battles and they do not make umpires. They also do not hold on to the defenses to the last man and last round. It requires a bizarre type of stick-to-itiveness to win battles. And if defiance is the quality that wins wars, and winning wars is surely the reason why we have armies, it is only common sense that such resolute soldiers must be promoted over those who excel in peacetime requirements of the army. But as all soldiers know, that is surely not the case. The problem is that while they are likely to be producing excellent results in war, they normally cannot soldier in peacetime. S.L.A. Marshall, in his book Men Against Fire, tells us that in our interviews we repeatedly found that these were men who were consistently bad in training, marked by the faults of laziness, unruliness, and disorderliness, and who just as consistently became lions on the battlefield, with all the virtues of sustained aggressiveness, warm obedience, and thoughtfully planned action. When the battle was over and the time came to coast, they almost invariably lapsed again. They could fight like hell, but they could not soldier. The book Crisis in Command mentions an unobtrusive indicator associated with the notion of a good officer, which is getting low marks of loyalty. Such a man is unwilling to blindly follow in the policies of his superiors without debate. He is likely to have an independent mind. How nice it would be if one could promote soldiers which have skills for a peacetime army, and in times of war ask them to start being defiant. But being defiant is a matter of temperament, not skills. Temperament is not something you can change at will. It does not work with an on-off switch. If an organization expects its officers to fight like Genghis Khan in battle, it cannot expect them to behave like Cinderella in peacetime. Officers which are very correct in their daily dealings in peacetime will never fight like the devil in wartime. Take your pick. Look carefully at the officers today. Do they look like devils or like academic, respectful and erudite gentlemen? Today one can hardly make out a Fauji captain or a major from a corporate executive unless he is wearing his uniform. In my book, I have covered in detail what makes soldiers win battles. So why did India go in for this stupid gentleman warrior concept. Because Indian Army evolved from the British Army, which has this concept. But remember, the battle record of the British Army is one of the worst in war. At one time, the record of the failures had become so bad that the BEF, the British Expeditionary Forces, were ridiculed at home as back every Friday BEF force. They came back from every expedition defeated and came back soon enough. In the World Wars, they were kicked around roundly by the Germans and the Italians and Japs. It is only when the foul-mouthed Americans, with their tons of money, and the even more foul Russians entered the war that the backsides of the Brits were saved. Gentlemen do not win wars, savage men do, who are mostly uncouth. Indian Army is suffering from too many English-speaking, tie-wearing, soft-spoken generals and too few rough-riding, plain-speaking, cursing warriors. The result is in front of all of us. The politicians and the bureaucrats love the gentleman officers because they do what is asked of them, even when wrong. A dabang will never ask his men to do what is being routinely done today, as we see. It's a matter of temperament. When you put gloves on the paws of a cat, it looks pretty alright, but it no longer catches mice efficiently. Decide what you want your cat to do.